you're putting in the works, you're doing hours of cardio, you're cutting your calories, you're trying to stay consistent, but the scale just won't bust, and you're just wondering, what are you doing wrong? And you feel so exhausted, you feel frustrated and stuck, and you just really want to make a change because you just hate how not seeing the progress of doing all this work. And to be honest, most ambitious professionals just like yourself are just making these cardio mistakes unknowingly, and that is actually killing your progress. So if you're tired of not seeing the results that you want by doing all this, I'll love for you to just keep watching this video, because I'm going to share the 5 biggest cardio mistake that is stopping you from losing weight. And by stopping these, you'll finally lose the weight and get a lean, toned, muscular body, but also feel more healthy and confident talking with clients and doing presentations. If you have not subscribed to my YouTube channel yet, make sure you hit the subscribe button and also turn on the bell to get notified whenever I make a new video about weight loss advice. And I use these tips to lose 60 pounds in 8 months and kept me off 12 years, and I also have several men and women lose the weight and keep it off, and I'm so pumped to help you. If you're an ambitious professional working a full-time job and you are your heaviest weight, and you also feel like you are missing out on so many social events with your family and also at work because you don't like what you see in the mirror and pictures, and you feel uncomfortable showing up to these events, and you have diabetes, you have high blood pressure, you don't like what you see in the mirror and pictures, this video is definitely for you. So the first biggest weight loss mistake when it comes to doing cardio is that you're using cardio as a way to overeat. And it's very easy to burn, like do 1 or 2 hours of cardio, but that is easily replaced by if you are eating like a hamburger and some fries. So these 2 hours just wasted, because at the end of the day, when you're trying to lose weight, you are using cardio as a way to accelerate your growth if you are having your diet in check. Of course, let's imagine that you have a calorie deficit of 500 calories and you have a 45% of protein and 40% of carbs, like your diet, and then you have that in check, you're following that Monday to Sunday. That's creating like a 3,500 calorie deficit, and that's enough to lose weight. So if you are losing less than 1 pound a week, you're just going to implement cardio to lose weight, but also making sure that you don't eat a lot of shit besides that, because if you are eating a lot of shit, you're just erasing the calorie deficit you created through the dieting. But you also want to, if you want to lose 2 pounds a week, you're just making sure that you're performing cardio. That could be like 6,000 steps on a, like going out for a walk, and you're also doing 20 minutes on a stationary bike or cross trainer, a heart rate of 120, 150, and that is going to help you create like a 500 calorie deficit. Like if you're doing that 5 times a week, then you'll, or 6 times or 7 times a week, then you're creating a 3,500 calorie deficit. So in total, that is 7,000 calorie deficit. So that's helping you lose 2 pounds a week. So that's the first thing, and it's all about math. And the second biggest fat loss mistake you're making when it comes to doing cardio is that you're not doing cardio intensively enough. So when you are just going on a, let's say, treadmill and just walking a slow pace, and let's imagine that you are just talking with your friend and you're not breathing hard enough because you're just talking, that is essentially just you could just stop doing it, because you could just go out for a walk. And if you are someone who is guilty of putting the incline up to the max and you're holding yourself, that's just a waste of time, because if you're holding yourself, all the efforts of being inclined is just gone. So instead of just making it like, instead of 15 incline, you could set to 5. That's just easier for you to, that is more, it's more challenging for you compared to if you just hold in there and just try to not fall down and just drop. So that is also a good indication. And also I always have an Apple Watch on me when I'm like doing cardio, because I can monitoring my heart rate like 120, 150, because if you're not performing cardio enough, let's imagine that 10 is your max, like you're doing HIIT cardio, and 5, 6, that's like you are breathing heavily, that is just making you burn even more calories, because you're doing cardio to burn more calories, and if you're not doing enough work, you're not burning as much calories as possible, and you're just spending more time on the treadmill without seeing the results that you want. And there's also a reason why you want to do it instead of on a treadmill but on a stationary bike or a cross trainer, because you are just making sure that you are having some resistance when you are doing it, because you are like, there's some resistance when you're doing the cross trainer or the stationary bike, so you're burning even more calories. I would love to know, what is your biggest takeaway so far? Just comment below. And the third biggest cardio mistake you're making is that you do too much fucking HIIT cardio, and that's just very demanding for your nervous system, because HIIT cardio is like you going balls to the walls, like 10 a maximum. Of course, you're going to burn a lot of calories, and also you heard about people doing that with burning more calories throughout the day. But the problem is that I don't use HIIT cardio because it's just so fatiguing for my general nervous system and also my joints. Because if I'm doing cardio several times a week, like 4 or 5 times a week, and I'm doing HIIT cardio, I'm just mentally fatigued and I have no fucking energy when I'm at work doing presentation, and I just want to go home after work and fucking sleep on the couch there and never come up again. So everything in moderation. If you really want to do cardio 1 to 2 times a week with HIIT cardio, but I don't want to do HIIT cardio at all. I'm just doing low steady cardio, like on a cross trainer or stationary bike, and that was how I was losing the 60 pounds in 8 months. And since then, I'm not doing HIIT cardio anymore because it's just annoying. So that's the third cardio mistake. And the fourth cardio mistake you're making is definitely that you are spending too much fucking time on the cardio machines before you are even working out, and that's just making you feel fucking fatigued when you're actually starting the real workout. If you are, imagine that you have a lot of energy before you're working out, and you are seeing that you are spending like an hour on a cardio machine, you're just burning calories by being on a cardio machine. But if you're only doing cardio for weight loss and not building muscle, you'll just end up having a very thin person body, and you don't have any muscles. And the reason why you want to have more muscles when you're trying to lose weight is that more muscle mass helps you burn fat even faster. If when you're not working out, like 100 or 200 calories, I've seen a noticeable change in my physique when I'm building a lot more muscle, that I'm losing weight much faster, but I also look much better in clothes and also without clothes, because imagine that you have no fat around your like your muscles. That is what makes you appear more toned. So if you have a lot of fat around your muscles right now and you are losing 1 to 2 pounds a week, and you're trying to build muscle even more, the more muscle mass you have, the more you decrease the fat around the muscles, the bigger you appear, the more toned you appear. So even with a higher body fat percentage, but with higher muscle mass, you will just look more ripped and lean. Like, you don't need to lose as much fat because you're just filling out your frame. And what I always recommend people doing is that when you're trying to lose the weight, is that you're focusing on heavy workout with compound movement and isolation movement as first. That would be like 3 compound movements for, let's say, the back exercises, and then you do that could be barbell rows, that could be dumbbell rows, or seated rows, cable rows, and then you could do lateral raises, and you can do flies like for the back part of the shoulder. And that's just helping you build a more toned and muscular physique, and also that hourglass figure that a lot of people are really enjoying. So it's also when you are focusing on progressive overload, where you're constantly following a frame that you are, let's say you have the warm-ups that there's like 10 to 12 reps, and then you are get some blood flow out to your muscles, like you're picking 10 kilos for, let's say, barbell rows, and then that's fine. And then you hold a rest for 60 seconds, then you increase it to 15 kilos for the next set, and you perform 10 to 12 reps. And you always want to make sure that you're doing it 1 to 2 reps before your max, because that's just making you feel that you are working out intensive enough. And then you just increase it for every set. And also track your workouts, because if you're not doing that, you're not going to see if you are. Let's imagine that the next time you are doing back workout, and instead of doing 10 kilos with warm-up set for the barbell rows, you are feel that is easy, so you are increasing it to 15 kilos. You're making a note, and for the second set you're doing 20 kilos. That's just an indication that you are build more muscle mass, and more muscle mass also like more strength, and more strength equals more muscle mass, and that helps you burn more fat in the long run. The last mistake you're doing is, if you're already someone who has been having a very active lifestyle, you are working out as there could be construction worker, you are like working as a bartender or anything hotel, restaurant related, and you're walking a lot, you shouldn't necessarily doing too much cardio, because if you're doing like 20,000 steps a day or 15,000 steps a day, that's just making sure that you can just try to rely on doing the 5 workout with the strength training at first, and then you're focusing on the steps, like 15,000 steps you're doing a day, and then instead of doing any cardio, you just want to focusing on the steps and also on the weight training at first, and decreasing your calories when you are hitting plateaus. And if you are hitting more plateaus and you feel like you're not able to work out or doing more steps at work, you just want to add in a few cardio sessions, like 1 to 2 or 3 cardio sessions a week, because that's going to help you. If you're doing everything like working out, cardio and steps too much already on top of a fairly heavy lifestyle, you are just feeling very depleted and exhausted. You'll run into overtraining where you are feeling no motivation to train. You have pain and aches in your joints. But that's definitely just it. So if you're an ambitious professional working a full-time job and you're the heaviest weight you've ever been, and you're missing out on career opportunities, you have diabetes, high blood pressure, and you want to lose the weight and keep it off so you can feel more healthy, have a lean, tone, muscular body, I would love to invite you on a free strategy call with me where I can guide you to lose the weight and keep it off. The link is in the description and also in the comment section. Thank you for listening. Bye.